Hey everyone, Anna Hammond's here with Unite Ellis Podcast. It's November, so it's National Caregiver Month. So we're here with Matt and Brittany, and we're going to talk about their life, what it looks like in the business world and the nonprofit world on how they take care of others. So let's get started. All right, guys, thanks so much for being here. Why don't we start off by giving us kind of an overview, who you are, how you got here, and everything you do. Just your whole life story. Just go ahead.
Awesome. In 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
My name is Brittany. This is my husband, Matt. We own Assisting Hands Home Care together.
Okay.
So quick background on us. We were teachers for about 15 years?
14 years.
Wow.
Okay. Felt like God was calling us to serve people in another way.
Wow.
Found Assisting Hands and just fell in love with it. We love loving on people and serving people, and it has given us so many opportunities to serve the community, and we now have a nonprofit attached to our business.
Okay, I want to dig into all of that, but first thing I noticed, so you were teachers at what age level?
Well,
Were
go
you-
ahead. You
Okay.
started off before I
I
did.
was first grade.
Okay, and then what
First
were you?
grade only.
Okay.
Only.
11 years of that. And then
Wow.
I was 14 years. I was a coach from 7th through 12th grade.
Wow.
I taught academically
Okay.
9th through 12th.
Okay, so y'all went from under 18 to now your average population
Yeah.
is quite a bit older.
Went from seniors to
78.
seniors.
Seniors to seniors. Okay, so what triggered that?
Honestly, we were those ones. COVID.
Okay.
COVID happened.
Okay.
Matt has been entrepreneur his whole life. Like
Okay.
I would say, when we first got married, he'd have like gumball machines and
Yeah.
like we're bringing home like quarters, like super fun
Yes.
stuff. And so
Yeah.
I had gotten sick and with COVID and was like, you know what? I don't care what we do. Find something for us to do.
Yeah.
So we went through a franchise broker. That's a whole nother story.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wow.
I was
Okay.
a business teacher as well. So
Okay.
I always had the theoretical side that I was telling
Yeah.
the kids about. And I was like, man, there's so many of these things I want to
Yeah,
try.
and you want to do it.
And see if
Okay.
it's, theory
Wow.
becomes reality. And it, for the most part, has. So
Okay. So y'all started a business and then break it down. It's caregiving. What is the level of, caregiving that y'all do at the facility?
Yeah. So we go into homes.
Okay.
I have about 175 caregivers on staff.
Okay.
So they will go into the homes of our patients, clients,
Okay.
and it could be home, it could be apartment, it could be
Okay.
trailer home. We
trailer.
served
Okay,
it
so you're
all.
going
served it
to
all.
them.
We are
Okay.
going to them
Awesome.
and being the caregiver in the home or wherever they
I
call
love
home
that.
to help out with, they call it activities of daily living, which I had no idea what that was
Yeah.
until. So, you're cooking, you're cleaning,
Yeah.
you're dressing, you're toileting, whatever you
Okay.
need to live on a daily
Y'all are
basis.
going to them, helping with those services.
One
That's
way
great.
I kind of explain it is, so if you've ever visited somebody in the hospital or been in the hospital, so you have your doctor, that's
Yeah.
not us. You have the nurse that comes in and checks vitals, and
Yeah.
that's not us. We're the CNA. So we're
Okay.
helping them get out of bed, go into
Okay.
the bathroom, take a bed bath, bring them
Okay.
their food, take away their food.
Okay.
Those types of things.
Okay.
And we do it one-on-one in the home. So we're kind of
Okay.
like a private tutor in the home,
I
if you
love
will,
it. I love it.
bringing it back to academic.
That's really good to know because, so giving you our own example, my mother-in-law and father-in-law took in their, the time 95-year-old mother, and they needed extra help. So they had a
Yes.
caregiver come in, same type of
Yes.
model. Okay.
Exactly.
So the family many times are still in the home or
So
are they living on their own?
it depends.
Okay.
So we see all sorts of situations. So we see, hey, I'm going to use mom.
Mhm.
Females tend to live longer. So mom's at home. She still wants to live by herself, but maybe I can't just go check on her as much as I want to.
Okay.
We live this personally. My mom is in charge of my grandmother's care,
Okay.
but that's a full-time
absolutely.
job being a caregiver.
Yeah.
So we send a caregiver in a few days a week to help take that shower.
Okay.
It also helps protect family boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
because it is so hard it's a role flip.
Okay.
So now you have a child taking care of a parent,
Mm-hmm.
and you have personal boundaries. You have just relationship boundaries that you don't want to cross.
Right. Yeah.
So there are times that maybe the parent lives with the child, and hey, I just need to get out, or maybe we're still working. We'll come in and supplement that care.
Okay, that's awesome. So y'all are not only helping to be the caregiver, you're also serving the caregivers, which I know is a whole thing. Like I mentioned with my mother-in-law and father-in-law, I watched them specifically go through this, and they took such good care of grandma that she lived like another 10 years to 109.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean, it was shocking, but that's a long time, to take care of someone. And so I watched them have their own struggle. They didn't get to go to church as often. Anytime they wanted to leave, they had to have coverage. So what are y'all seeing as the needs of the caregivers that are still in the home? How are y'all helping them? I'm sure that's a whole area that y'all are supporting.
So I do field a lot of the phone calls because I'm out in the community, and so the phone rings to me quite a bit.
Yeah.
But one of the things, and I don't know if this really answers your question, but one of the things is there's a lot of guilt. It seems like there's a lot of guilt of individuals. Well, I feel bad that I can't provide this kind of care for my parent, or that I need some assistance, and I feel guilty about that. So, that's probably the number one objection that I hear.
Yeah.
Certainly when you talk to the individual who's receiving the care, I don't need that kind of assistance.
Yeah.
I'm fine by myself.
Yeah.
But for the family caregiver, for the individual who kind of, anoints themselves as that, that caregiver guilt, being able to step away is real. Also, like taking care of my own grandfather, that was a big part of the reason why I was very okay with assisting hands and just being in the home care space. But I always felt guilty that I didn't spend enough time with Grandpa. He stayed in a facility in Ennis, and I just knew that he wanted to get out a lot more. And so even as a kid, I was in high school, and I felt early college, and I just was like, I need to go spend more time with Granddad. So there's a lot of familial guilt that they shouldn't feel like they need to check on mom when they go on vacation and stuff. So we're able to supplement that, take that guilt, hopefully take that guilt away from that.
That's really good. Them. Now, I know y'all are very active and involved in the Unite network and being out in the community. So as business owners, talk to me about that drive for even wanting to be, like, you're not bogged down so much by your business that you're not out. You're out in the community. So tell me about the heart behind that and kind of why y'all do that.
It doesn't start that way. Just like disclaimer, it doesn't start that way. When we first started this, I mean, we're talking 60, 80-hour work week, just learning every part of the business. And it has just been, God has blessed it like beyond imagination. But we are literally living our best life. I think my prayer last night was, like, I don't ever want to take for granted, like, the stage that we're in, because our business is serving people, like, and it's amazing, but like our whole role is to be out in the community. And the way that Matt and I have, like, our mindset with it, I guess was what we would say, is that we're there to serve. So nonprofits, being involved in the community, being that resource, like we love it.
That's so great. So what do y'all find is when you get connected to other people and sectors, like as a business owner, like how does that help y'all? Because a lot of people might be like, well, I'm, bogged down with the business. Y'all are helping others connect. Is it just more connections that y'all are getting from being involved in the community, or what?
Yeah, so you have the connection, certainly the networking that goes on. I mean, really, with what we do, we have this thing called the Silver Tsunami, and you have 10,000 people per day. Of course, you're talking United States wide, so it's not specific to our geographic location here. But there's so many people that are becoming 65 and up, and it's not going away. So there's no issue finding the work, to be quite honest. But just getting the information out there, and really our heart, when somebody calls our office, a lot of times they've already talked to 2 or 3 other agencies, or they're going to talk to 2 or 3 other agencies. our heart is really more of like a social worker.
Yeah.
So I carry that, whether we're out in the community and I'm meeting, individuals, business owners, the work is there.
Yeah.
It's a function of like, how can I help you?
Yes.
Because
So good.
I don't have to worry about work. I mean, I've got more work than I can shake a stick at,
Right.
which is a great problem to have. A lot of businesses don't have
Yeah.
that, but if we can be a connector, if we can be a resource, we can answer their questions and just kind of let them know what we do. Everybody knows somebody, even if it's not your parents or your grandparents.
Absolutely.
You have friends, you have neighbors.
Yeah.
So, but really just being a connector. And so getting connected with Unite Ellis, you guys are, I say you guys, we, Unite
there you
Ellis,
go. Yeah.
the community involvement with, each one of the major cities within Ellis County has a group. There's a military group. That's the heart of what we do. There's so much.
Yeah.
And so it's really just getting to meet those movers and shakers and key contacts.
I love that. I mean, it's my hope for every business owner. And it's such a great example of like every type of service line or size business or whatever, everybody can get involved in, have those relationships. And it's really good. And even just having these kind of conversations to remember caregivers, like we all need to have it top of mind, of like, the fellow person that maybe they need to get out for coffee or whatever it is, I think that's really great. All right. So I know veterans is a whole thing. So let's break that down, kind of give me the overview of how veterans and your impact with them through all your work.
Gotcha. So one of the things that we're able to do that is a boon for what we have, probably 60, almost 70% of the patients.
About 60%,
Yeah, of the patients that we serve are veterans.
Okay.
And so we have a contract with the VA, and that was a real fun time to try to line that up and make that happen. But essentially what it is we take a veteran that's in the VA healthcare system, and that is, there's a big misconception of do I even qualify for VA healthcare? Because, I was told a long time ago that I don't.
Okay.
So we really kind of educate them, first of all, on how the VA works and how they can utilize the VA, even if they were told a different program that they didn't qualify for the VA. It's a different program. Congress sets all this up. They're the power of the purse. It's a function of you either use it, it's available to you, or you don't. You're not taking away services from another veteran.
Okay.
So we do a lot of education. I'm out doing a lot of I'm doing a lot of public appearances, lunch and learns. Veterans Day has a lot of opportunities for us to get out there and
just making people aware of what they have access to that may not be.
Exactly.
They don't even know it's something that's offered by the VA.
So they may be seeing a doctor at the VA, which puts us way down the road to helping get them connected to our care. But unless the doctor thinks about it and goes, hey, could you use some assistance around the home? The doctor may not. And I've seen veterans going in there with oxygen on, driving the rascal scooter, and the individual may live at home by themselves. Like they could probably use some help, but the doctor, they're just going through their normal routine. Check this, check that, ask this, ask that. They may not think to ask that. So we really get out there and educate them on, hey, this is available to you if you're willing to accept that kind of care. And what's interesting is, to me, what's probably the most interesting is a lot of times the veterans that are most standoffish and want to say, no, I don't need that kind of care. They're usually the ones that after a couple of weeks, they call us up. What can I do to get more hours? I'd like to, because they get that companionship.
The interaction.
And they get the assistance in the home, and they go, oh my gosh, I had no idea.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. She gets a lot of phone calls of teary-eyed spouses and things like that really appreciate that.
So bringing it back to the caregiver piece is most of the time, so if we're serving the veteran, a lot of the times it's a husband and wife that are still at home, right? Wife typically is going to be the caregiver, right, for the husband. Now, we do have a couple of lady veterans, but a lot of times,
it's a minority.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it gives that wife an opportunity to have a break.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I love all the veteran work. I want to jump to the nonprofit side, but anything else on the veteran side that you want to touch on?
Yeah. So actually, I have a personal story, and it was why it was such a big deal to me to get connected to the VA, because this program started in 2019.
Okay.
My grandparents, my dad's side of the family, paternal side of the family, my grandfather was boots on the ground, World War II, 36 T-Patch Division in Germany. He had all kinds of really cool stories that I would love to share with you, but for the sake of time, my grandmother, we called her Nani. They were pretty well-known people in their community. And when we start talking about assistance in the home, generally people aren't knocking on your door going, hey, you know, Charlie and Emmerdale, do y'all need some help in the house today? I mean, that just doesn't happen, right? It's a family thing. You know, you take care of that on your own. So my grandmother and grandfather, they started the Texas Sports Museum and Hall of Fame together down on the Baylor campus in Waco. They did everything together. They're such an inspiration. But because of that, when my grandfather and grandmother were both aging, you know, they were aging together. I mean, as he was struggling with his health, she was struggling with her health. And she was 5'0", probably 85 pounds soaking wet. And Charlie wasn't a real big guy, but when you don't have a whole lot of weight, she's not a real large lady. She was the one that, you know, lived with him. And so she was the one getting him out of bed, getting him into his wheelchair, getting him out of his, you know, out of his lazy boy back into the wheelchair, into the shower. She cooked for them. She cleaned for them. She took care of the dogs for them. You get the idea. It was everything fell on her shoulders. And so, you know, my grandfather, we knew had 3 strokes. The doctors, I mean, we had, you know, inpatient stays at the hospital because of this. And my grandmother was in great physical health. I mean, for her age, I mean, she still drove. You know, because of his strokes, he struggled to sign his name. He struggled getting words out of his mouth, and it was just because of the medical things that had happened to him. And so I, you know, as a kid, was thinking, okay, well, you know, thinking about the reality. Okay, when Grandpa passes away, you know, what are we going to do with Nani? You know, I guess she'll come live with us. You know, I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. Well, that's not at all what happened. Probably junior year of high school, I think it was, Nani went missing. And so, you know, 5.5 hours goes by. They found her 2 blocks from the house. I mean, you could almost see their house from where they found her. And, you know, I hate to give you that story, but it was, we didn't have an autopsy because we knew it was, you know, I don't know, we want to keep that in there. But
you found her. And she was not living.
She was not living. They'd found her in her car, parked at the grocery store. And you know, I think about it and I go, everything that we can gather from it, it was stress related. The things that they found about her was stress related. There was no, you know, there wasn't a missing wallet or anything. She wasn't mugged or anything like that. And so we took care of Grandpa the last couple of years of his life. And again, here's a guy who was really well known, but nobody came to visit him. And so I really took it upon myself and my dad, my parents certainly took it upon themselves to go and visit him. And we moved him from where they lived in Waco up to Ennis so that we could be with him more often. But he honestly died of a broken heart. And, you know, I look at it and I go, I really truly believe that if my grandmother would have had the help in the home that she really required,
took a toll on her body.
I think she probably would have lived a lot longer. I don't know if she'd outlived Charlie. I imagine probably so, but you know, and then it ended up causing his life to be short because he was just so sad all the time because they were literally high school sweethearts. They were married at like 17, 18 years old. But that being said, it's just, you know, I felt so bad because, you know, I wish this program would have been available at that point in time because it would have been a game changer.
Wow. I did not expect the story to go that way. But it's a really good point about like how much she was carrying on herself, you know, and then, that's crazy. Okay. So let's talk about the nonprofit side. So you mentioned that. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So we created the nonprofit to help supplement care for people who needed the in-home assistance. So whenever the VA gives the hours and they say, oh, hey, we're going to give you 10 hours a week for care, that's included inside the home.
Okay.
So they don't count the care for transportation.
Okay.
Sometimes the homes that we go into are in pretty bad condition. And when my caregivers get there, they say, we can't do what we need to do because the house needs so much help to be in like up to standards, like cleanliness wise.
Yes. Okay.
And that's not something that the VA pays for. So we started the nonprofit to help supplement that care for transportation, for cleaning. So I have a partner that will come in, and the nonprofit pays her to go in and clean the home so that it's suitable
that's great.
for that client, that veteran, to come in. So the hopes is to eventually have it as well to help supplement the cost if the patient is on Medicaid, or if they just can't afford services, because I'm going to get on my soapbox of care.
Get ready.
But just give you a warning. So if you qualify for Medicaid, you can get in-home assistance. If you're a veteran, you get in-home assistance. If you have enough money to pay privately, you get in-home assistance. But Medicare does not cover what we need. Like, they don't cover it. They don't cover what we do. They don't cover. And so many people that are in that middle income range need this help. Probably feel this passionately because of teachers. Like, we felt it when you go to pay for preschool. You can either qualify for preschool, or you can pay for whatever preschool you want. But that middle income, it's coming out of your pocket. And that's the same with in-home caregiving. And there's so many people. Matt talked about the silver tsunami coming. Like, changes are going to have to be made. And so we're working on supplementing that pricing so that everybody can get the care that they deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to the cleanliness part, the other thing I thought about is, what about when the home is needing to be like more wheelchair accessible, or ramps, or are y'all seeing any of that kind of stuff? Like, maybe their recent, health history, like not everybody's home is set up for that kind of stuff. Are you seeing that?
Absolutely. So I'll let you talk, because you just recently are helping someone go through that process. We don't do it, but. Yeah.
So especially when it comes to the veteran, so the VA will cover the cost of ramps. And I've seen some very elaborate ramps just based on how the house is set up. They will even go in and gut a bedroom to put in a wheelchair accessible shower. Really, any kind of help that's needed, anything that's needed for the veteran, so that they can get the assistance in the home. Again, getting a shower safely, because again, stepping up into a shower, especially if I'm in a wheelchair all day long, there's an accident. The number one place for an incident in the home is in the bathroom. Because of the wet. You've got the slippery floors. You've
got
got
the old school bathtubs.
You got stepping up into it. You got the mats on the floor that can crinkle up and get you. You get the idea. So the VA is very aware of that. It is a process to get that approved, but we will also help them apply for it, turn in the paperwork for it. You get the idea. So.
And the reason I even thought about that is because, again, back to all the relationships and the connections, the networks, like I know there's certain groups, like church groups and things like that will come out and help with those sort of things. Of course, the VA side might be a different story, but even, non-VA members, all of that. Just so that's one thing I want to lean in on is, if someone's listening to this and they're like, I don't know how, but I want to help. What would you say to them, of someone that's kind of being pulled in that direction?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do about a monthly just give back to the community piece. Like, we've recently started that. So we are always looking for volunteers. We are looking for donations, things like that. Today, you're going to pick, somebody called us and said, hey, I have a hospital bed. And so Matt is that connector piece. So then he's picking up that hospital bed to go give. We always see if we have an immediate family in need. And if not, we have a nonprofit that's part of the things that they do. Not ours, but like another connector, the connector piece. And we will give it. So if you want to serve, donate, we always have something.
That's great.
Going
if
on.
Anybody has any networking connections, or hey, I know this organization over here also, can put in ramps, for the non-veteran, or gut a bathroom and make it wheelchair accessible. I mean, that's great information to have, because you never know if this place is tied up with work, or they don't serve an area that we could get another organization or another business to be able to step in and be able to provide that kind of work.
That's great. Yeah. What about the companionship side? People who are like maybe drawn relationally to want to be a friend to someone. Is there an avenue for that?
So there's an avenue if they want to do like a one-time, like, hey, I want to be a part of your event, but also hospice companies need volunteers on a regular basis.
Wow.
So what's their percentage? Is it 10% that has to be?
I don't know.
Yeah,
5 or 10%.
5 or 10%
like that.
has to be, hospice hours have to be volunteer hours.
Oh, wow.
So we have several in the community that we partner with that we think the world of, that we can point you in that direction if you're wanting just to sit with somebody.
Oh, wow. That's great. All right. So we're coming into the holidays and then, of course, going into 2026. Anything going on that you want people to be aware of as the holiday season's approaching with this population? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to take that one because, again, talking about the veterans so much. So Veterans Day is this month, just in a couple of days here on the 8th. Waxahachie Civic Center is going to have an awesome event. Anybody is welcome to attend that. You don't have to live in Ellis County. It's really, really well done. A lot of cities and counties do things for, they want to show their appreciation to our veterans. And so definitely be on the lookout for what the city or town is that you live in. But, during this time of year, we really see a big uptick in what we do because, again, it may have been a year ago that we've seen mom or grandma or granddad or whomever. And so when they're going back into the homes for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, whether they're going to spend it in their homes or whether they're picking them up to bring them somewhere else, they might start realizing that, hey, last time we saw her or him, they were doing a little better. We might want to consider getting some care for them.
Bring in help.
At least start inquiring about what kind of services are out there and how much is it, that sort of thing. We see that this time of year is by far and away the busiest time of year for us. Coming into mid-November and all the way through, frankly, early January. It's a busy time.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to get connected with y'all, how do they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website or social media with Facebook and Instagram is all under Assisting Hands Mansfield.
Perfect.
Would love for people to follow us so they can see our monthly events. Our November event for this month is a Slice of Thanks. So we're having pie and coffee
fun.
I know, I've always been an old soul. I feel like pie and coffee.
That's great. I love it.
With a lot of senior communities, people who are in rehab. So just loving on people.
That's really good.
And so we'd love to have them join us.
I love it.
If anybody's looking for more informational, I would point them more to our website because those are more of the events that we have and more of the social gatherings. But the website, which is assistinghands.com/Mansfield. Our office is in Mansfield, but we serve 7 counties.
Oh, perfect. That's good to know.
But all the information and whatnot can be found there.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank y'all so much for what you do and for your heart, not only as business entrepreneurs and being involved in the community. We need more people like y'all, but then also your heart for, taking care of people. So thanks for everything. Y'all check them out, get it plugged into their social media, check out their website, spread the word. Look for people that might need some companionship or just a conversation. Hit up some pie. That's good to know too. And just get involved. Y'all have a great month.